Good morning and welcome to Data Talks Live. Data Talks Live. I'm Dr. Tom. A few things interesting happening this morning. So it seems that China has banned AI chips from Nvidia, and the CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, commented after the Financial Times report that China banned the use of the company's AI chips. The Trump administration in August agreed to a deal under which Nvidia could receive export licenses for its H2O AI chips in exchange for 15% of its China sales. So the U.S. government is making deals, sitting on boards. However, the Financial Times reported Wednesday that China has urged its domestic tech firms not to use Nvidia AI chips. So CEO Jensen Huang has weighed in on the U.S. tech giant's struggles in China after a report claimed that the country has banned its AI chips. Huang said he was disappointed Wednesday, and it reported that the Cyberspace Administration of China had ordered companies, including TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, and Alibaba, not to buy NVIDIA's RTX Pro 6000D, a chip that was made for the country. In response to a question, the Financial Times report, and I'm understanding of that. It comes after a tumultuous few years for NVIDIA's business in China, which Huang described as a bit of a roller coaster. We've guided all financial analysts not to include China in financial forecast, Huang told reporters at a press briefing in London. The reason for that is because that's largely going to be within the discussions of the United States government and the Chinese government. Previously, the U.S. had imposed restrictions on exports of NVIDIA's AI chips to China, including the less powerful server chip called H2O, over national security concerns. However, in August, the White House announced that President Donald Trump and Huang had struck a deal under which NVIDIA would receive export licenses in exchange for 15% of Chinese sales of H2O going to the U.S. government. The latest news Wednesday represents yet another blow to NVIDIA's China business. Earlier this week, China's State Administration for Market Regulation opened an anti-monopoly investigation into NVIDIA over its acquisition of Mellanox, an Israeli technology company that creates network solutions for data centers and servers. Huang is accompanying Trump on his state visit to the UK this week. On Tuesday, NVIDIA announced £11 billion or $15 billion of investment into the UK AI infrastructure, and it was not alone. A slew of other US tech giants, including Microsoft, Google, and Salesforce, have also announced multi-billion-dollar AI investments. So this article is from CNBC. It's titled "NVIDIA CEO Says He's Disappointed After Reported China Has Banned Its AI Chips," and it's by Ryan Brown. I'm going to link it in the description below. Another article and Bloomberg, Huawei unveils AI chip roadmap to challenge NVIDIA's Huawei Technologies, which is a Chinese-owned technology company, unveiled new technology from memory chips to AI accelerators Thursday, outlining publicly for the first time its multi-year plan to challenge NVIDIA's dominance in the growing market. The highlight of the company's presentation on Tuesday were new SuperPod cluster designs that will allow Huawei to link as many as 15,488 of its Ascend neural processing units for artificial intelligence and operate them as a coherent system. So a lot going on in the chip space. I see another one, Wall Street Journal. Chinese officials urge firms to shun NVIDIA AI chip. Here's the Motley Fool. AI spending could soar 500%, 3 brilliant AI stocks. I see that a lot with Motley Fool, though. Try to pump a stock. How's this go? Saw a few other articles this morning that I thought were interesting. So this is Popular Mechanics. The title is "Scientists Designed an AI Chip That Doesn't Sap the Power Grid. It Just Needs Light." Using light as a decoder for a diffusion-based image generator, scientists show that improvements can be made to AI models to be more efficient. This is Darren Orff. It's designed by scientists at the University of California, UCLA. A new diffusion model uses laser light as a decoder, which significantly cuts down on computational power and, in turn, energy. These systems would need to be integrated into existing AI infrastructure, but the authors believe they could be hugely beneficial for AI-powered wearable systems where energy efficiency is key. Pretty good. Something in TechCrunch. Oh yeah, Meta unveils new smart glasses with display and wristband controller. I was looking at this morning. They have, what stinks is I just bought the Meta Ray-Ban glasses like 2 months ago. but the new ones look like they're going to have a heads-up display. So the existing ones don't have a heads-up display. They're audio only. They have AI. They let you shoot first-person video, which is pretty cool. You can talk to them. You can say, "Hey, Meta," and you can ask it questions. It's okay. You can say, "Tell me something about what I'm looking at." It'll take a picture and tell you something about it. But apparently, the new Meta AI glasses have a heads-up display, and you can control the augmented reality on the heads-up display with a wristband using gestures. So I have been a Meta Quest user since it was Oculus Quest for a few years, and that technology has been built into the new Oculus Quest S, which I have, and it's pretty good. You know, it's not perfect, but it seems like they're making strides, and I would be interested in purchasing the new smart glasses to test out the functionality. I think I saw in the photo that I looked at, they were using hand gestures to manipulate like a photo album that they could see virtually on their heads-up display. So pretty cool. Here's one, TechCrunch. Nvidia AI chip challenger Gork, G-R-O-Q, raises even more than expected, hits $4.9 billion valuation. So AI chip startup Gork, this, by the way, this article is by Julie Bort, confirmed Wednesday that it raised a fresh $750 million in funding at a post-money valuation of $6.9 billion. Gork, which also sells data center computing power, previously raised $640 million. Gork has been a hot commodity because it is working on breaking the chokehold on the AI chip maker Nvidia over the tech industry. Gork's chips are not GPUs, the graphic processing units that typically power AI systems. Instead, Gork calls them LPUs, language processing units, and it calls its hardware an inference engine, which specializes in computers optimizing for running AI models quickly and efficiently. That sounds interesting. Gork's founder, Jonathan Ross, has particularly relevant pedigree for this work. Ross previously worked at Google developing its tensor processing unit chip, which are specialized processors designed for machine learning tasks. The TPU was announced in 2016, the same year as Gork emerged from stealth. TPUs still power Google Cloud's AI services. So I have used TPU through Google's AI services, Google Cloud platform, as well as Google Colab, which is a cloud-based IDE or developer environment. Really, really solid for most tasks that you're going to do in machine learning. They also provide access to GPUs. A lot are pay as you go. Google Colab does have a free tier. I don't think the free tier gives you access to the TPUs. I'm not sure because I've had the pro version for a while, which is like a low monthly fee, and considering what you get and that it's good for most tasks, and it doesn't include, any installation. It's another thing I use it for my students because when it's kind of based on Jupyter Notebook, and when you use Jupyter Notebook for machine learning, it requires some installation steps. So there are just fewer process steps to get started with Google Colab, which is why I like it. You can kind of just hit the ground running on, I use it for Python programming for machine learning. And that's really nice for a student when, you're trying to kind of reduce the cognitive load on the student and have them just focus on performing the task, which is analyzing some data rather than figuring out how to do, some software installation when maybe they have no experience at all in machine learning or even programming. So if you're taking a student from 0 to 100, it's just nice to reduce the amount of kind of process steps that you have to go through. Here's something. OpenAI will apply new restrictions to ChatGPT users under 18. So this is in TechCrunch also. It's by Russell Brandom. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman announced on Tuesday a raft of new user policies, including a pledge to significantly change how ChatGPT interacts with users under the age of 18. We prioritize safety ahead of privacy and freedom for teens. This is a new, powerful technology, and we believe minors need significant protection. I agree. The changes of underage users deal specifically with conversations involving sexual topics or self-harm. Under the new policy, ChatGPT will be trained to no longer engage in flirtatious talk with underage users. Wow. overdue if that was the case, that could happen. And additional guardrails will be placed around the discussion of suicide. If an underage user uses ChatGPT to manage suicidal scenarios, the service will attempt to contact their parents or, in particular severe cases, local police. Wow. I wonder how that's all going to be managed. I mean, I don't remember signing up. I think I logged in using single sign-on with my Google account. So I don't know how ChatGPT is going to know how old people are or what their parents' contact information is, or I can think of ways that they might do that, but I don't know, given their existing current architecture, how it might be done. So this might be something that they're going to do going forward. OpenAI is facing a wrongful death lawsuit from parents, I'm not going to say the name, of a child who died by suicide after months of interaction with ChatGPT. Character.ai, another consumer chatbot, is facing a similar lawsuit. That's good. Uh, I'm going to read this note at the bottom. If you or someone you know needs help, call 1-800-273-8255 for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. You can also text HOME, HOME, to 741-741 for free. Text 988 or get 24-hour support from the crisis text line. Outside the U.S., please visit the International Association for Suicide Prevention for a database resource. I didn't realize that was such an issue, but definitely needed. We definitely need to provide support, especially for underage people and for anyone who's struggling. The implication of you having a conversation with AI and the service contacting local police is, I think, a separate and maybe discrete discussion topic, but I'm not prepared to go into that now. So I guess, you even have to consider what you say to AI and the implications of what that might mean. What to know about TikTok's uncertain future in the US and people who want to buy it. Yeah. So for those that don't know, TikTok has been banned and up for sale for some time, and the kind of deadline for deactivation has been extended several times. And recently I heard they found a buyer. This is another article on TechCrunch by Lauren Forstall. TikTok, owned by the Chinese company ByteDance, has been at the center of controversy in the U.S. for 4 years now due to concerns about users potentially being accessed by the Chinese government. Earlier this year, the app experienced a temporary outage in the U.S. that left millions of users suspended before it was quickly restored. TikTok returned to the App Store and Google Play Store in February. So I think Trump likes TikTok. I think because he feels it helped him with the election. The People's Bid for TikTok is a consortium organized by Project Liberty founder Frank McCourt, who is also the former owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Supporters involved include Alexis Hanian, the Reddit co-founder, Kevin O'Leary, the well-known investor and television personality from Shark Tank. So there are several interested parties in TikTok. This doesn't allude to whether or not it has been actually sold yet. I did hear somewhere, I don't remember, that a buyer was found, but usually when those types of deals are happening, information is not released until the deal is finished. I mean, not usually, like always. And having worked in a major S&P 500 company, I can tell you that's standard practice. We're not going to get that much information until the final deal is done. And I think that makes sense. That's probably for like competitive practices. If you're trying to make a deal and your competitors are trying to make a deal, you wouldn't want your competitors to know how much you're willing to pay, and they wouldn't want you to know how much they're willing to pay, so that no one feels like they're getting a bad deal. And I think if you knew while the process was happening what your competitors were paying and it was less than you would never be willing to make a deal, and so deals wouldn't be possible. So I think that all makes sense. Okay. So I think that's all I have for this morning. This has been another episode of Data Talks Live with Dr. Tom. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.